Hello everyone, welcome to my now third update for Project Level Up. This project was created by Sophie Alexandra. I'm going to leave her channel and intro video down below. But what this project is it's sort of like gaming inspired, I guess, project. So you have a number of levels that you have to complete before you move on to a different one. And so each level has a more difficult task of hitting pen and using eyeshadows. So for the first level, you randomly select an eyeshadow palette, and you will have to hit pen on one eyeshadow and use each of the shades in the palette once. And then for the level 2, you hit pen on 2 eyeshadows and use each of the eyeshadows in the palette twice, and so on and so forth. But before I get into the palette, once again, I wanted to remind you that there is still a war in Ukraine, and there are some ways that you can help. I will link petitions to sign and places to donate to in my description box. So if you can, please do. It means a lot. As I mentioned before, I am from Ukraine, and I just really want to have my home back and not just live in a constant state of anxiety. So yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, and also, once again, similarly to my previous video, if you're wondering what the hell is this makeup, this is just another thing I filmed for my TikTok. This is like inspired by PJ Harvey To Bring You My Love album cover, or like her makeup in that era. So yeah, that's that. So let's just finally get into the update. So my level 3 palette has been It's Freaking Bats by Shroud Cosmetics and Beauty Bean. So since this is level 3, I had to use each of the shades in this palette 3 times and hit pan on 3, and this is what my palette looks like today. As you can tell, I haven't hit pen on 3 shadows, so this is kind of a boring update because we're not going to do any rolling in of a new palette, but I wanted to film it either way so you can just see my progress. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch out the shadows that I hit pen on or used more than 3 times, and then I'm just going to talk about those shadows, and yeah. Okay, let's get into it. So the first shadow in this palette is called Handbook, which is this chartreuse shimmer. Here is the swatch of it. I used this shadow 13 times and I feel like it barely looks like I touched it. You can probably see like a tiniest dip, but yeah. So this is one of the shades that I decided to hit pan on, and I've been mainly using it as an inner corner shadow, so I guess that's why it doesn't look that particularly used. But yeah, that's it. The next shadow next to it is called Spooky, and this is one of the shade, as you can tell, I was able to hit pan on, which here is the swatch of it. And I used Spooky 6 times plus 1 more use to kind of make the pan a little bigger. So as I hope I mentioned in my previous update, I've already had a bit of a dip in Spooky, so it wasn't really that hard to hit pan on it, as you can tell by it having pan after 6 uses. So yeah, these mats, as I mentioned before, I think are pretty powdery, so it's pretty easy to get a dip in them and hit pan too, apparently. Okay, the next eyeshadow is this beautiful kind of gold to purple shimmer, and it's called Apparition, and I used Apparition only once, so 2 more uses on this guy. Moving on, we have Adams, and I use Adams twice, so 1 more use, which I bet won't be a problem because it's a pretty nice matte. Next we have Sam, which is like a sage green shimmer, I would say. Here's a swatch of it. It's very beautiful. I used Sam 4 times. So I originally wanted to hit pan on Sam instead of Handbook, but I feel like Sam is a little more hard pressed. So after using 4 times, I didn't even see even a hint of a dip in it, so I thought, oh, I'd rather go for Handbook. It's probably will be easier to hit pan on, and I think I was wrong. But we'll see. So yeah, I won't really need to use the shadow anymore. But moving on, we have Troppa, and I used Troppa 3 times, so I've achieved my goal in this shadow. I like it. It's good. It's a good man. Moving on, we have 3rd shadow I wanted to hit pan on, which is Zero. And Zero is like purple to blue duochrome. And I hope you can see I have a pretty decent dip in it. I used the shadow 8 times. So yeah, I think I will definitely be able to hit pan on it by the next update. So okay, so let me just explain my logic why I chose these 3 shadows. So I just wanted to have a look that I can do repeatedly. So I wanted to just choose eyeshadows that can make a good look. So I thought Spooky, Zero, and Handbook would be a perfect trio because, well, Spooky obviously could go in the crease area. I usually deepen it up either with Dairy or a different similar shadow that I have in my Panda palette. And then I put Zero on the lid and Handbook in the inner corner. So that's why Zero has a significantly bigger dip in it, because I put it all over the lid and this one just in the inner corner. I hope that you even wanted to hear that. But anyway, moving on, we have Dairy, which is this glorious deep eggplanty color. I used Dairy 3 times, so no need to use it anymore, but I probably will because it's awesome. It's really deep and it blends pretty well, so I really like that shadow. And finally, the last shadow in the palette is called Grim, and I used Grim once. So 3 more uses on this guy. 3 more uses left, and I don't think that will be a problem. Oh, I said 3, I meant 2, sorry. 2 more uses. So yeah, oh, and by the way, here's a swatch of Zero. So yeah, these are the shadows that I've used more than 3 times and or hit pan on. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know what else to say about this palette. Oh, I think so. Many of you agreed with me that Spooky is it can be pretty patchy, and I think from my experience, the best way to use it is just to set your lid pretty well, and then there's no issue of patchiness. I don't know if that's like useful information, but I just wanted to put it out there for the people that are struggling with the shadow, because once you set your lid, it works perfectly. So it's pretty weird how this is like one shadow that does that, but I guess it's just like the nature of this type of color. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and I guess wrap up the video. So yeah, as I said, we won't be rolling out anything this update. I hope this update wasn't too boring to watch, but I will reassure you that the next one will be more exciting, because I'm pretty confident that I will be able to hit pen on Handbook and Zero by the next month. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Check out my description box, and yeah, take care. Bye.